Oaks, ABC News legal analyst. No one complains about Royal Oaks. Royal, going to read the tea leaves for us. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, my pleasure. A pretty amazing day yesterday.
Yeah, pretty unbelievable. Of all the unbelievable things, what was the thing that caught your attention?
What caught my attention is the irony. On the same day that you have the announcement of the Manafort and the Gates indictments, that, of course, the Trump administration is saying, where's the there? There's no link with the collusion allegations. And the same day, you get the announcement about the arrest of George Papadopoulos a few weeks ago because he has agreed to enter into a guilty plea and is cooperating with the FBI. And he goes more to the nuclear core of the allegations because he, as a 29-year-old foreign policy advisor to the Trump administration last year, was running around the world allegedly trying to arrange meetings between Putin and Trump and Russians and the Trump administration. That does tend to suggest, gee, maybe there was something going on between them, and he's cooperating with the FBI. So to me, the fact that that emerged on the very same day as the news of the indictments seems very interesting, and of course we'll have to see whether Papadopoulos has anything that actually would implicate higher-ups in the Trump administration.
So was that part of the sealed indictment, or did it just so happen to break on the same day? Why did it break on the same day?
Yeah, I think the idea is that the prosecutors wanted it to happen on the same day, and so cynics would say, well, they knew that the big news indictments about Manafort and Gates didn't really go to the nuclear core of the allegations in terms of evidence of collusion by Trump or obstruction of justice by Trump. And so maybe it would be better for the prosecutor's position if everything got out at once. That's what some cynics are suggesting.
Do you think George Papadopoulos wore a wire?
That's a possibility. People are talking about that when you cooperate, as he started to do several months ago when the FBI approached him. They arrested him. And then it was only a few weeks ago that the guilty plea was actually entered into. When you communicate with folks, it's like they're talking about having the conversation between the prosecutor and Manafort. They're sitting across the table just like on TV, and he's got his cup of coffee, and they're saying, okay, you're going down, you're going to prison for 20 years, but you don't have to, so let's talk. So they're going to squeeze, they're going to flip people, and perhaps they're already down the road in that process with the Papadopoulos.
You got to wonder what was going through his mind when the guy sat down originally and just blatantly lied to the FBI, not knowing that they had the goods on him.
Yeah, that's the situation. You have to believe that the Mueller folks are very good at this, and they're very thorough. You've got about 16 lawyers, many of whom have left $1 million plus a year white-collar crime practices in Washington, D.C., and according to the Trump administration, let's ask some questions about their bias. A whole lot of them were donors to Hillary and Barack Obama. Virtually no dollars were donated to any Republican candidates out of the entire group of 16. But they're very good at their job. They're very diligent, and after many months, this is what they've come up with, and now we'll just have to see what develops behind closed doors.
So the last couple of months, Royal Oaks, there's been a lot of leaks and a lot of complaining about leaks, but nobody knew the name George Papadopoulos. What does that tell you about the leaks and the non-leaks in this Mueller investigation?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's gotten to the point where, of course, it isn't new. It happened back in the Watergate era, but the leaks are systematically and strategically used by people. I mean, just look at the James Comey situation of a few months ago. He was upfront about the fact, after the fact, that he wanted a special counsel appointed. And so he leaked information about his dealings with Trump, government information, which you're really not supposed to be leaking, but he gave it to this law professor friend of his with instructions, you please get it to the media. It'd be a little radioactive for me to walk into the New York Times with this, so please you do it, because I want a special counsel appointed. That's what happened, and so that's just how people play the game.
Right, but also they didn't want the name George Papadopoulos out there, so they kept that close to the vest.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to interfere with the integrity of the investigation. And of course, it's interesting. Corey Landowski, the former campaign manager for Trump, has been on TV saying, hey, Trump, that is, Manafort was under a FISA warrant, this foreign intelligence court system, and the FBI was after him. And at that time when he was under a warrant and they were looking into him, suddenly he gets appointed campaign chair for Trump. So why didn't the FBI tell the Trump campaign that its new chair is under a warrant? Well, I guess one answer is that's not how the FBI rolls. They would just be very eager to find out more information now that this guy has gone up to the top of the food chain in the campaign. So there was no leak there. Again, it's kind of a strategic game that people play.
All right, Royal Oaks, read the tea leaves for me. Going forward, where does this go? And if you work in the White House or worked for the campaign, are you afraid everyone you have coffee with is wearing a wire?
Yeah, it's a huge distraction. There is that possibility that people are wired up. It kind of reminds you of the Watergate days when the White House basically shut down as a productive entity. And so there's going to be a lot of concern there. There's going to be a question in people's minds of whether Trump is going to be firing Mueller, and that would generate a huge political firestorm. On the other hand, he's got some ammunition. He'd say, look, there's a bromance between Mueller and James Comey. Mueller was his mentor. Mueller actually has a conflict of interest because he was involved in the FBI during the whole uranium Russia alleged scandal that people are calling for a further investigation of. What about the biased staff that he's assembled? Gee, we could replace him with somebody who wouldn't be biased like that. In fact, maybe we don't need a special counsel because if Sessions goes, then you have a new AG with no conflict. So lots of political/legal machinations could happen in the next few weeks.
Royal Oaks, thanks, and you'll be here to tell us all about it. Thanks, Royal. Have a good day.